This is our syllabus, right? I will share it to you. I think if I didn't share to you, so I will be sharing today in a group which we have. So this is entire syllabus. Like we have initially we discussed about the some P2P process, procure to pay process cycle. Then we are now in the enterprise structure configuration, right? So we were doing enterprise structure configuration, right? So like this is one of the Excel sheet which we are using. In this Excel sheet, right, I was defining these all organizational elements, right? Mapping means we will do mappings as well, but presently defining the enterprise structure. Like as you know, SAP is a integrated software. It is not just like SAP materials management module. It has 150 modules available. We have SAP is one part. So SAP itself is vast functionality, right? So you have SAP finance and controlling, sales and distribution, production planning. Like that, we have SAP APO, advanced planning optimizer, SAP CRM. Like that, we have 150 solutions or modules. So we cannot learn each and everything. Why? Because it is vast. So we are concentrating on SAP right? So, but if you are really get into one of the real-time project, there will be so many consultants will be there. Finance consultant will be doing his. I am doing my work, and production planning consultant will be doing their own work like that, etc. So here we do not have any of the another module. Since we have a dependency, I think we discussed on that day. At the hierarchy number 1, there is finance module will be there. Then controlling hierarchy 2. Then SAP at hierarchy 3. Then sales and distribution module. Then a warehouse management module. Like that we have, based upon your project scope, there will be various modules involved in that particular project. So we cannot directly go ahead and implement SAP as a standalone solution. If you wanted to implement SAP at least you need to have finance first. You need to have finance, then go for SAP We cannot stand alone do transactions in SAP Yes. So why? Because there is an integration between finance and like whatever may be the postings or data activities which you are doing or valuation you are doing, everything is flowing and available at finance side. So that is the reason we have a dependency on finance module. So that is the reason we started creating with the finance related organizational elements first over here. Like we have finance related organizational elements. We try to create the finance related organizational elements like company code, then credit control area, all those things as a configuration object. These are all configurations, right? Are you able to get it or not? You are able to get it, right? If you are not able to get it, please let me know. Normally, what is SAP? SAP is one of the software, right? So what is the use of this software? Any idea what it will be used for? Yes, like there are so many industries in the market, right? There are so many very big industries. They want one software to support their day-to-day processes. Yes, yes. Production, procurement, sales, finance, distribution, human resource management. So many things are there, right? So for all those business processes supporting as a solution provider, we have SAP. Along with SAP, there are so many other softwares as well in the market. Like you have Oracle, you have JD Edwards, you have Microsoft Dynamics, you have Salesforce, Oracle, like that, right? There are many. All are just like your SAP only, which will be providing the solutions for your enterprise. So SAP is also one of the such tool, right? So let us say you learned SAP, you got placed into one of the IT company as a SAP consultant. Then you got placed into one of the project. So once you got placed into the project, what you will be doing? What is your roles and responsibilities? The company has placed you into one of the SAP implementation project. Like I am the one of the manufacturing company. I don't have any software in my company. Then I will approach IT company stating that we are implementing SAP we are planning to implement SAP software in our company. Will you be able to support the implementation, right? Why? Because I don't have any knowledge on SAP as a manufacturing company. I will obviously approach one of the IT company so that IT company will deploy the consultants like you, and you will be working in my organization to implement the software or the SAP application. So let us say you got placed into one of the SAP project. What is your role? Let us say there is company. Let us say Tata Motors is there, for example. So Tata Motors or Reliance Petroleum, Reliance Jamnagar refinery. There is one big refinery is there. They wanted to implement SAP in their organization. You placed as SAP consultant to implement the solution for Reliance Group. So what is your first activity once you got placed into the project? What you will do?
We understand what kind of client is looking for, what client needs.
So you will try to understand how the Reliance industry working today. What is their business processes, right? They are what will be their architecture or the design of the Reliance group. When I say design, they are obviously into the petroleum products production that we know, right? But to execute that petroleum products production processes, what business processes they are using today? Maybe they are not using SAP, but they have at least one process or standard operating procedures deployed with them to execute their business processes. Maybe it is procurement, or maybe it is sales, maybe it is finance, or maybe it is production, right? They may be using some business processes today. You will try to understand their existing business processes and hierarchy or design of this architecture. Architecture is nothing but like, yeah, architecture means, let us say, Reliance Group we know, right? But a Reliance Group as a company we know. But within the Reliance Group, there are multiple businesses they are doing, right? One is the petroleum products business. Then you have Reliance Geo, right? Reliance Geo is one category of the business, telecom business. Then Reliance retail business. They are also into retail. Then Reliance Communications. That is one business. Like that, they are into multiple businesses, right? So you will try to understand what is their each and every type of the business. Within this business, again, you have so many manufacturing locations. Like if I take Reliance Petroleum, they have manufacturing facility or refinery in Jamnagar. They produce some petroleum products over there. Reliance Mangalore. Like that, there are so many manufacturing facilities, right? If you take Reliance Retail, within the retail, there are so many locations. If you take, yeah, if you take Hyderabad, within the Hyderabad, you don't know how many places the Reliance Retail they have their own shops, right? So that is the architecture. Then within the Reliance Retail, again they are storing multiple products. If you take Reliance Retail one location in Hyderabad, they have thousands of groceries, etc. Right? So one category of the groceries they are storing in one place. Again, they have so many sales and marketing departments. How many sales and marketing department they have in Hyderabad? So like this, specific to each and every module, you need to understand the design or architecture or physical organizational elements of a Reliance group. That is the major activity. Once you understood that, that is what I am trying to do it over here, right? Like I took the Reliance group as one of the company. So this is, I think this is one which we created, Reliance group. RG01 we created, right? So, but these are finance related organizational elements. Like, let me go to the system, right? So if I go to the system, so we were defining, so team today, so there is some queries with Pobali madam. So I am trying to explain those things. If you have any doubts, so please let me know. So let me log in into the SAP application. India at the rate 1234, right? So the first topic, if you see our course content also, so this is a theory part only, right? Like the benefits of S4 HANA from business perspective, all these are theory part only. These topics, theory part only. I think one of the very important theory part is the procure to pay cycle. We discussed this. It has 7 steps included in it. Create purchase requisitions, vendor selection process, then create various procurement documents like a contract, scheduling agreement, and purchase order. Then follow-up activity or a dunning process. Then a goods receipt process. Then we have invoice verification and payment program execution. Those things we were able to discuss, right? All are theory part only. Again, these things we are repeatedly discussing. Whenever we are executing a particular business scenario, again and again we are going to discuss these things, these theory parts, right? But one of the very important topic is enterprise structure. So this is what we started discussing about it, right? I think we completed till a purchase organization. So organizational structure or enterprise both are same. I am calling as organizational structure, but as per SAP terminology, it is enterprise structure, right? So, as I mentioned to you, there are, I think as I mentioned to you, we are going to do it 4 activities as a consultant. I think yesterday also I was explaining. One is you will be doing configuration. There are so many objects. SAP has identified them as configuration objects. Whenever you wanted to perform a configuration, you need to get into SPRO transaction code. So enterprise structure is a configuration object. So where I will be defining? I will be defining in the what is the transaction. So if I go to the tools, then customizing, then implementation guide, SPRO, execute project, and implementation guide. So this is the screen where you do so many configuration objects. The first and foremost configuration object whenever you kickstart the project is enterprise structure. You need to study the client business and identify the all organizational elements like the company, company code, plant, storage location, purchase organization, purchasing group, etc. and try to configure them, right? That is what we are also doing. Like I was trying to create. Presently, we were trying to create the plant, right? We tried to create a plant as a SAP related organizational element. We also try to create the storage location, right? We also try to create a purchase organizations. We haven't created, we are yet to create the purchase organization. So these are the some of the configuration objects. Like we have many teams. So in SAP there are hundreds of configuration objects which we are going to do it. Like if I go to materials management, then there is all these are SAP related org elements. Again, if I go to each and every node over here, again you have so many, right? There is no ending for this. It will be adding, adding, adding like that. So one of the very important organizational configuration is not organizational. SAP configuration is account determination and pricing, all those things. End user, you tell me, are you a end user? Then what category you are falling under? Yes. Who is end user? End user means it is just a data entry operator. Data entry operator. Let us say I implemented the solution for Reliance. You are the consultant, like you. You implemented some solution to the client Reliance Group. Reliance Group, they will start utilizing the solution which you have given to them, right? So they will be doing day-to-day transactions on computer. So those people are end users. Like you go to the bank, right? You went to the bank. You wanted to deposit the money. You deposit the money. Then once you deposit the money, what that banking person will do? The banking accountant person. He will post that voucher into the system to debit the money from your bank account. It is a end user activity. Like that, daily he will be posting some 100 or 2000 vouchers. For 2000 people, he is giving the money. Daily, he is posting those vouchers into the software as a end user activity. But the solution was developed and implemented according to that banking requirement is a consultant job. So you are the consultant. So we are trying to learn the course for the perspective of consulting, not as the end user. But yeah, he will enter, right? Yes, yes. Like you went to the bank, you asked the bank to withdraw the 1 lakh rupees. When the accountant is trying to post that voucher in the bank, he will not post for 10 lakh, right? He will do it for only 1 lakh only. He has given 1 lakh to you, he will do the debit of your bank account for 1 lakh only. He is not going to do 50,000 rupees like that, right? If you do 50,000 by mistake, that is his fault. So everything will happen. If you go to any of the finance department of the company, they will do all the verifications. Now there is some approval mechanism in SAP. Let us say today I created one order, right? Or I created one invoice. That invoice should be for 1 lakh rupees. But by mistake, I did it for 1,10,000 rupees. There is something known as a release process or approval mechanism. Like you processed the invoice wrongly. As a boss, I need to review that. Again, that request which you have generated to process the invoice will go to various levels. They will also cross check. Okay, Mr. You have processed the invoice for 1,10,000 rupees, but when I cross check, it should be processed for 1 lakh. But Sai Putra has processed for only 1,10,000. What is the reason? I will review and reject that invoice, or I will ask you to cancel that invoice and reprocess it for 1 lakh rupees again. Yes. Or in the system itself, there is various validations. Like your invoice is for 1 lakh rupees, you cannot post for 2 lakhs. If you are trying to post for 2 lakhs, your system will immediately block that invoice, stating that your variance or the tolerance is too high. It will say in your purchase order, this invoice amount is only for 1 lakh, but you are processing for 2 lakhs, which is not acceptable. It will stop over and there itself. Sometimes it will yellow. Your purchase order value is 1 lakh, but you are processing for 1 lakh 2,000. In such cases, it will allow you to proceed, but that invoice which you have processed for wrong amount will be blocked for approval. It will go to approval process. First, it will come to me. I will accept, I will reject it first. First of all, I will cross check and reject it. Like that in SAP, there are 8 levels of approval. You created document, I reviewed it. Again, my boss will review. Again, my boss to boss, he will review like that. Yes, it depends upon the amount. If it is only nominal value like 500 rupees or 1000, only you and me will be the levels of approval. If the value is crores, then it will go to various, the CEO of the company also has to review and approve it. So that is the approval process are there in SAP in each and every documentation which you are doing. Like we are going to discuss that, like some students in this session, they already had a release process for some of the documents discussed about it. But for your batch, we haven't started it. We are going to discuss the release levels. In SAP, we have various release mechanisms. Like the older versions of SAP, it has traditional release mechanism or release strategies. But the latest versions of HANA and S4 HANA, there is something known as flexible workflow concept. Flexible workflow concept came. So that is one of the latest solution that got introduced by SAP for the approvals. It has a lot of backend configuration settings needs to be performed. A flexible workflow we will be discussing as a part of our S4 HANA discussions. I think we have in this server itself as well. Like if I show it to you a purchase order, like every document, whether it is any SAP document, whether it is a requisition or order, contract, scheduling agreement, every document will go through the approval strategies. Like if I go to a purchase requisition, let me log in into again.
ఈ జగిరియా FICO की recording video కావాలా?
We are going to do various activities,
activities,
madam.
madam.
Yes,
Hello.
speak. Can you hear me? Just
Can
tell
you
me.
hear me? Just tell me.
Can you repeat?
Can you repeat?
నువ్వు మిస్ అయిపోయావు అన్నయ్య. అప్పటికే అన్నాడు ఆమె ఎక్కడికి ఫోన్ చేస్తుంటావు.
Okay. So, like if I go to the, I will just show it to you, the flexible workflow and the traditional release mechanisms. Since we have purchasing, then a purchase or purchase requisition, you say release procedure or approval strategy. Along with that, there is a flexible workflow for purchase requisitions. What is the release procedure? In this section, you set up the release. Release is nothing but approval procedure for the purchase requisitions, right? So we have to do the characteristics, class, so many things, right? We will discuss this. But this is the place where you are going to set up the release procedure. There is a new concept as well, flexible workflow functionality. This is also coming under the release process only. All these are configuration activities. Like we have pricing, we have other, we have pricing is one of the very important configuration activity for SAP consultant, right? So this is one of the price determination procedure, etc. Also one of the very important configuration activity. Then account determination, automatic account determination settings, right? So we have many configuration activities, right? So as you mentioned, this is the one which we are discussing. If you wanted to practice, you start practicing from the enterprise structure. I didn't get you. Can you repeat? What is your query? No, question set. Question, we cannot go ahead based upon the question set. Practicing only, right? For the interview perspective, you can go through the questions. But if you wanted to have better understanding, then this is the place where you need to start, right? Like I shared this document as well to you. Did I shared, right? This one, huh? I shared, right? So I asked you. So I took the Reliance group for my better understanding purpose. I took a Reliance group and try to give you some idea how the enterprise structure elements needs to be defined. Once we define this, how we are going to configure them parallel in SAP. That is what I am explaining with you, right? So you also take any one of your known company. Maybe you have some idea with one of the company which you have worked for earlier. Take that particular company business as a reference and try to prepare the Excel sheet like this, how I am preparing now, right? So once you prepare the Excel sheet like this and try to configure them parallelly in SAP application as well. That is what I mentioned on that day. Right. So have you started anything? Going to start. Oh, right. So practice is very important. So if I explain one topic today, you need to practice on the same day. Otherwise, if you delay like this, I will be going to the 50th session and you are just practicing 10th session only. So there will be a gap between the topic which I am discussing and the topic which you are practicing, right? So most of the students doing like that only. So it will delay your entire. You will not be able to follow the things which I am explaining it. Right? So you please start from here, right? If you still have any doubts, please let me know. So I will share this particular document to you as well, right? So take this particular sheet as a reference and try to define the organizational elements like this and try to configure the same way how I am configuring. Let me explain you. This is configuration object. So again, what is the difference between configuration and master data? I think I explained that as well, right? What is configuration object, right? What is config object? What is configuration object? Can anyone tell in the group?
Configuration, we are defining everything and assigning. And master data, we are preparing some basic master data to do transactional.
Okay. So yes. Yeah, correct. But system wise and the SAP design wise, there is a lot of difference. Let us say when I say a configuration object means it is a client configuration is object is a client dependent activity, client dependent or client independent. So this is a client independent activity, right? So under the configuration we have so many things. One is enterprise structure is one configuration object. Then pricing is one configuration object. Then I discussed just now the release process is one configuration object. Then flexible workflow is one configuration object. Examples of the configuration object are like org structure, one simple example, and the release or the approval process. For example, release slash approval process, right? Then a flexible workflow, which we just discussed, right? So flexible workflow is one of the configuration object. Then price determination process. Like this, we have many, right? Price determination process. All these are configuration objects, for example. So configuration is a client independent activity by design of SAP. What is client independent activity? Client independent activity means when I say a configuration, I need not to do a configuration in each and every server of SAP application. I think we discussed regarding the SAP system landscape. Have you remember or not? Every SAP project will have one landscape. Like in our project, we are using only this server, right? The server S4 2022 user 1 I am using for multiple activities. I am doing configuration in this server only. I am setting master data in this server. I am doing transactional data. I am doing reports. I am generating some custom programs in this server only. Why? Because we have budget constraints, so we cannot afford that much volume of the money. So that is the reason we are using one single server for our course of duration. But this is not the case with the real-time projects, right? In the real-time projects, every project will follow one SAP system landscape. You will have multiple servers, right? I think this we explained, we discussed this as well. Let me quickly write it down over here. Like we have a development server D100. So D100 is a development or a golden client server, right? Development server or golden client we call it as. So in the golden client server, I will be using this golden client only for the configuration activity, only for configuration and only for new program developments, right? New program development. Apart from configuration and new program development, I am not going to use this develop D100 client for any of the another activities. Like I will not be creating any master data, no master data in this server, no master data in this server, no transactional data, trans data, and no reports execution, right? So this is one of the clean server which I will be using only for the configuration and the new program developments. So I'm not going to use any no master data, no transactional data, no reports will be generated in this particular server. Then you will have there is one more server, that is A100, right? This is called as a acceptance client, right? ACCE, acceptance client or server. So in acceptance client, we are not going to do any configuration and new programs directly, right? I don't do any configuration directly or a new program development directly over here. Instead, I can create the master data. Yes. So in this server, I can create master data. I can create the master data. Yes, we can create. I will create transactional data. Yes, I can create. I can create reports. Yes, I can generate, right? So this is one of the specific client in which I am not doing any direct configuration or programs. Instead, I will do master data, transactional data, and report generation. In this server, I will be doing some sort of testings like unit testing, UT. UT stands for unit test. And I will also performing some sort of testings like ITC1 and ITC2. ITC1 stands for integration testing cycle 1 and integration testing cycle 2. So this server is only meant for the master data creation and some sort of testings execution, but no direct configuration or new direct program will be happening in this server. Again, you have a Q100. This is a quality server. In quality server, I will be here also. I am not going to do any configuration or program development directly. Instead, I will be creating the master data, transactional data, and reports, etc. But here, I will be performing some sort of testings that is called as UAT testing. UAT means user acceptance testing. So this will be used for the user acceptance testing, right? So when I say configuration, like apart from this, we also have other servers team. Like we have R100, which is a pre-production client, right? Pre-production we call it as. In the pre-production server, again same. I will not be doing any configuration. I will not be doing any new program development. Instead, I will be creating the master data specific to pre-production, and pre-production will be used for some sort of testings known as performance testing, etc. Performance testing. And there is some other sort of testings as well. We call it as a regression testing. regression testing, LES1 and LES2, live environment support testing, like that. LES1 means live environment support. Live environment support. Like if you got placed into one of the SAP project, you will come to know how many types of testings we are going to perform as a part of our implementation. Live environment support. Every testing we are performing for one specific sort of activity execution. Every testing has some purpose. If I am doing LES1, there is some purpose behind it. Then a smoke test. Smoke test also, there is one category of the testing which you are going to perform as a part of your pre-production system. Right, so this is the landscape team. So you have pre-production. After pre-production, you have the production. So P100 is the production environment. What is production environment? Production client or production server? What is production server? Production server, I am not doing any test activities. It is a real-time server where the business is performing those activities in this particular server on day-to-day basis, on real-time basis. It is not just a dummy data. It is actual business data which you are going to create in the production environment. Right. So this is the landscape team normally. You will have development server, you have acceptance, you have quality, you have a pre-production and production. So the configuration object is a client independent activity. That means today I am creating the enterprise structure, right? It is the configuration. I will do that configure. I will start configuring the enterprise structure in D100 first. I will do in D100. From D100 to A100, I will copy. There is one functionality known as a transport request functionality. By using the transport request functionality, I will copy the configuration of the enterprise structure from D100 to A100. I will not do configuration standalone in acceptance. First, I will try to do it in development. From there, I will move or import to A100. From A100 to Q100, I will import. From Q100 to R100, I will import. From R100 to P100, I will import. So that is the reason I call it as a client independent activity. I am not doing configuration in each and every client individually. Instead, I am doing it in quality in development server. From development server to another clients, I will be copying or importing by using the transport request functionality. That is what we discussed as well. Whenever I create a configuration object, it will generate one transport request, right? Any doubts on the configuration object? This is the major difference. This is major difference between master data and the config object. What is master data? Master data is a client dependent activity. Master data and a transactional data. Transactional data and a reports. All these are client dependent activity, right? Client dependent activity. What is client dependent activity? Like master data, I will not create in development anyhow. In development server, we discussed no master data, right? We are not going to do any master data or transactional data in the development server. But in acceptance server, you will be creating the master data separately. Again, in quality, I will be creating separately. Again, in pre-production, I will be creating separately. In production, I will be creating separately. I will not be able to copy the master data from pre-production to production or pre-production to quality or quality to acceptance like that. So this is the major difference, team. So the difference between the configuration object and the master data is configuration is a client independent activity. You do it in development. From development to another clients, you will be importing across by using the transport request functionality. But master data is a client dependent activity. In each and every client, you need to create individually. So what are the examples of the master data? Examples of the master data in SAP is material master, 7 master data are there. Material master data, then business partner master data or a vendor master data, then service master records, info records, quota arrangement, condition records, and source list, etc. There are 7 categories of the master data. I think if you go to the syllabus, you can see. We define the enterprise structure as a configuration, then master data, material master data, vendor master data, info records, source list, and quota arrangement. I think we will discuss these things one by one in our upcoming discussions. So you have enterprise structure available, you have master data available. Then what is the next activity? Next activity is the transactional data. So what is transaction? Transactional data means, yeah, transactional data means you have org structure available. You have the master data available. By using those org structure and master data, you wanted to map the business scenarios. In SAP there are so many business scenarios, right? Can you tell me one business scenario? There are 18 to 20 business scenarios, right? One is special procurement business scenarios, like subcontracting business scenario, pipeline, consignment, third party sales, intercompany and intra-company stock transport order scenarios. Then procurement of the materials for the stock purpose, non-stock material procurement, non-valuated material procurement, sample procurement, like that. Like if you go to any of the industry, let us say you go to the Reliance group, what is the raw material they are procuring? They are using the raw material as the crude oil in their refinery, right? So to procure that raw material from the external oil companies, they need to follow one process, right? What is the process? The process is, first they need to create one thing known as a requisition. Production department will raise a request to a procurement department stating that for the month of October in our company of production department, we want 100,000 liters of crude oil so that we will be able to start our production. So that is their request. How they will raise the request in SAP? They need to create one request as a transactional data. based upon the master data and the organizational data, that request will go to the procurement department. Against that request, the procurement department is going to raise further documents, that is contract, purchase order, scheduling agreement, like that. Scheduling agreement creation is one transactional data. Purchase order creation is one transactional data. Right? Reservation creation is one transactional. There are so many transactional data in SAP. For example, I will show it to you. Let us say, I think in this server we do not have any data. We are still working upon that. Right? Let me. These are the basic fundamentals, right? What is master data? What is transactional data? What is configuration object? What is a report? What is a custom objects? So these are the basic fundamentals. If you are not able to understand these things, then the further sessions a little bit difficult. But you will get it if you started practicing it. You will get automatically, no issues in that. Right. So let me log in into the. So we have some idea now configuration, right? Then master data. Master data will be done under the easy access menu. Like I will just give some glance. What are the categories of the master data in SAP MM? Like material master is one of the first and foremost master data. Then we have a vendor master data or business partner master data. Then a service master info record, source list, quota arrangement, condition records, and service master data. These are the 7 categories. We will discuss this individually. Right? Like if I go to the service master records, this is the screen where you are creating the service master data. Right? So by using the master data and a backend configuration objects, we are going to do a transactional data. What is the transactional data? Like I have a organizational elements. I wanted to create one purchase order. So creation of the purchase order is a transactional data. When I am creating the purchase order, I will use the configuration object as well as master data. So what is, let us say I wanted to create the purchase order for the vendor. Vendor is the 3006. 3006 is master data, right? I created vendor Henderson Inc. as a vendor master data, right? Then purchase organization, purchasing group, and company code. These are configuration objects, organizational elements, right? Like purchase organization 3000, purchasing group, company code. Then material master. Let us, I will take one of the material that is being created over here. I think let me select this material. I think this material is not created here. Let me take material 3000. Let us, I will take this material. Pipeline, right? So I created a material master. I am using this material master to do a transactional data creation. You see, this is a transactional data, right? Let me try to save this. Like I am creating the purchase order for multiple line items, right? Let me try to save. This is a transactional data, for example. So purchase order is created, right? So this is the purchase order number, which is a transactional data. Then what is the report, right? I created 1,000 purchase orders during the financial year. I wanted to see the all open purchase orders and the status of each and every purchase order as a report. There are so many reports available. For each and every transaction, there is a reports, right? Like reporting, right? If I go to the list displays, I wanted to see all the open purchase orders that are created for a particular plant during for the plant 3000. I wanted to see all the open purchase orders as a single report. Yes. So this is the reporting, right? It will give you all the purchase orders that you have created and what is the status of each and every purchase order you can see as a report. This is one simple reporting, but you have hundreds of reports available in SAP. All those reports you can, let us say, inventory management. So let us say I wanted to see the warehouse stocks as a report, right? This is one report. It will give you the list of materials which you have under various stock types of a particular plant and what is the total valuation of that particular material. You can see it over here as a report. So this is the difference between configuration object and transactional data and reports and master data. But better if you practice it, you will get the idea. Right. So for your question, so please try to start configuring the org structure first. Right. I will again share this particular document to you. I will share this document to you. You please refer this 8 a.m. June sheet and try to configure the org structure from today. And let me know if you have any doubts. And accordingly, you can proceed. Any other doubts you have? No? Okay, team. So any doubts, team, from the line? These are the basics, team. So first you need to know the basics, then go ahead and try to do the rest of the activity.
Sir, when we are doing the purchase order, we are giving the vendor master data and vendor name, and we are giving the purchase order and purchase group and everything, right? So
Yes.
we have company code level and plant level company codes, right? Like purchase organizations. Each
Yes.
level we
Yes.
have. So how can
Yes.
we differentiate when to use what? Like while practicing, I'm giving the central purchase organization. Again, I'm getting confused. I'm giving the company code level, plant level purchase order.
No, no. It all depends upon your, like if your company has plant specific and
Mm,
your plant specific purchase organization is going to do the procurement for
mm.
that particular order, then select plant specific purchase organization.
Okay, client will
If
let us
your
know what to use when, correct?
yeah, 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 they will know.
Okay.
Because I have
Okay.
multiple purchase organizations. It's all depends upon which purchase organization is going to execute that particular activity.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Accordingly, you select and create it. No issues in that.
Okay.